Hey everybody, thanks for joining me and welcome back. My name is Sean Nelson, Advanced Sommelier and the founder of Somm Wine Club. And what I've got for you today is the 2020 Disznókő Dry Furmint from Tokaj in Hungary. I'm going to start off by just walking everybody through how to open this bottle before I do anything at all, because I've only had one other bottle like this in one of the wine club boxes, and it was a year and a half ago. So I want to just give everyone another recap. This is bottled with something known as a vino lock, which is a glass stopper with a rubberized seal. So it can look a little bit like it's going to be cork. So I've seen people try and just go right through the foil with a corkscrew. Doesn't work that way. It has a little pull tab on the back. If you want, you can use that. I prefer just generally cut the foil so that it's a clean under the lip cut. Once you do that, you can just pull up with your corkscrew or knife to remove, as I do this kind of haphazardly. And this is what happens when you do it on camera. There it is. There's that. And then you can see the vino lock, the glass stopper there. So there's no pull tab, there's no real instructions on how to remove this. Easiest thing to do. 2 thumbs, hold the lip of the bottle, push up. Whole thing just pops right out, just like that. You can keep those. They're kind of neat. You can also use them to reseal the bottle. It just clicks back on. Obviously that's not an airtight seal, so if you keep it like that in the fridge or out on the counter, it is going to eventually oxidize because that seal's only a one-time use. But there you go. So, Disznókő Dry Furmint from Tokaj. So Disznókő is actually the name of the vineyard. The estate's name is taken from the vineyard. First mention of this vineyard was all the way back in 1413. So this place has been a very important place in Tokaj for centuries, 700 years at this point. So Disznókő means wild boar stone. It's the name for a large volcanic rock that sits in the center of the vineyard. And Disznókő is one of the only estates in Tokaj that has a contiguous vineyard estate. So that means all of the parcels are connected. So it's 112 hectares of plantings of Furmint and Harslevelő and other native Hungarian varieties that are used to produce dry white wine as well as botrytis-affected Tokaj Azu. So historically, this region was better known for producing sweet wines. So botrytis, noble rot, the mildew or mold that forms on the grapes under perfect conditions when you have moisture on the outside of the grapes that then evaporates in the afternoon, only happens in a few select places around the globe consistently. Sauternes being the most maybe notable and memorable for people to understand. Tokaj is the other, and the reason is because it sits at the confluence of the Tisza and the Bodrog rivers. So where warm water and cold water meet, you get fog. Fog creates the right conditions for botrytis, and then sunshine in the afternoon to kind of dry out those grapes and leave the mildew behind, creates botrytis. Now, the region itself sits at the foothills of the Zemplén Mountains. It's an area that is covered in hundreds of extinct volcanoes. So this ancient volcanic soil at the confluence of these 2 rivers in the shadow of these mountains has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site for, I think, since the 90s. It's beautiful. If you see in pictures, it's just these incredibly stunning rolling hills of ancient volcanoes. So made from the grape variety Furmint. This is 100% Furmint that is done in stainless steel with partial malolactic, meaning that conversion of malic acid to lactic acid to give a little bit more richness and roundness and soften some of the acidity, but all done in stainless steel to preserve freshness, and then just a short amount of time on the lees, 4 months I think it is, but this is all hand harvested in whole bunches, direct pressed, to try and preserve the freshness and to not have any oxidative or kind of bruised quality to the fruit here. Disznókő was purchased in 1992 by a company called AXA Milicim, which is a large, well-known kind of winery company that has a number of other prestigious estates: Chateau Soudero in Sauternes, Chateau Pibron and Pichon Baron in Bordeaux, Quinta de Noval in Portugal, in the Douro River Valley, as well as Domaine de l'Arlot in Burgundy. So, great company to have when you are Disznókő, when you are a Hungarian winery that doesn't really maybe necessarily have the international brand awareness that Burgundy or Portugal or Bordeaux or Sauternes have. So this has this beautiful, stunning mineral backbone to it. It's like gunflint. It's like someone's banged two rocks together. It's that intensely stony mineral, almost like salty character to it. And I love that about Furmint. It's a variety that is just expresses that mineral character really, really strongly. There is fruit, there's citrus, there's bright, kind of tangy green pomaceous fruit like green apple or underripe pear. But honestly, the main characteristic of this wine is that mineral note. Being in stainless steel, it's preserving a ton of freshness, bright, energetic flavors. It's a little bit of like citrus blossom, lime leaf blossom, that kind of character here, but it's, I smell like, I feel like I'm sitting next to the ocean right now. Great acidity, but not overwhelming acidity. A wine like this, where it's so much mineral character, too much acidity, would make this wine kind of like licking a 9-volt battery. It's like this sharp, almost uncomfortable acidity level. You get it sometimes in like young Australian Riesling from Clare Valley or Eden Valley, where it's so sharp and so acidic that it actually hurts your teeth. That's not what this is. This has high acidity that is integrated with texture and fruit. There's also a lot of, I'd say, almost tannin, being that this doesn't spend any time on the skins. I agree with that choice because there's enough texture in the juice itself, and once the wine is finished, it doesn't need the skin contact. This white has tannin. It has a tanginess that lingers on your tongue. You get this little bit of grit, a little bit of weight. There's so much going on in your mouth. Fruit, alcohol, acid, tannin, texture. Mineral character on the finish that just lingers. A extremely underrated white grape variety, and even an underrated region in terms of fine wine production. Over the last 30 years, Eastern Europe has really come a long, long way in terms of marketing themselves to the international community and letting people know that incredible wines are being made here and have been made here for a long, long time. So I'm really excited to be able to share something unique, something different, something that people haven't experienced before, and to cook something delicious with it. Seafood. It's got to be seafood. I like, with that kind of salty, crushed seashell, briny character to this wine, I want something rich, something with some fat, creaminess. So creamy pasta with seafood, prawns or lobster or something like that. Clam chowder, that creamy, rich New England style clam chowder where you've got clams and potatoes and cream and fat and butter. That's what I want this time of year. You can go British pub food, you could do fish pie, you could do Cohen skink from Scotland, any of these like creamy seafood dishes where you're capitalizing on that intense mineral character are just going to be spectacular. I am so sorry to anybody who speaks Hungarian for if my pronunciation was truly awful. I practiced, I tried, but some of the letters, some of the accents, they're tricky to master. So don't feel bad if you can't pronounce Furmint or Disznókő. It's hard. It's a difficult language, but we're trying. We're trying. We're enjoying, and the main thing is that we have a great bottle of Hungarian wine to share with everybody. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much, and we'll see everybody next time.